Welcome to Jesus for Money. My name's Corey. God bless you. So it's August 1st, Friday, August 1st, and the markets are falling. Man, for the past 2 weeks, God took me away in a truck, and literally I started driving yesterday around 3 p.m., and it is now 7:52 a.m. I only had about 1 hour of sleep, but God said, you need to get on here and help instruct my people, right? And those 2 weeks of being isolated, I had a lot of God time. And before I left, it was like, you need to get a warning, right? A warning. Because people, they go on YouTube and people are just pumping these narratives. And yes, crypto is going to do great things. I have just been warned that I see it as through the ashes, crypto will rise. And if you have watched any of my videos, I've showed this parallel channel for a long time. And I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm going to reflect to God. He told me to do this right at the time. Okay? Now, are we going to crash and burn? I don't know. I have seen some stuff about, maybe we start a correction and then China takes Taiwan, or some war escalates and then it puts us in a tailspin. But what I want to show you here, and why I was so eager to get that warning out, I hope you enjoy the background music. That's Forrest Frank, by the way. Hopefully it's not distracting. I just thought it'd be a little bit entertaining, all right? But this parallel, and so we don't have a bottom pivot yet, so I don't know if we're going to come all the way down. That'd be pretty catastrophic. But at least this top trend line I was watching, okay? And then before we broke, we had this parallel that we were trading in, okay? And we had this trend line, and then this trend line has been adjusted a few times. And I learned a very, very critical lesson here about a breakdown. So when you break a line, you need to confirm below it, and we confirmed a breakdown, okay? We are coming down. But look where these intersected. This parallel channel here, the bottom to the top, and then the top of the one I've been showing you. And look where price got rejected. And you're telling me technical analysis doesn't work? I mean, to a T. And yes, I bought put options on the SPX. I bought put options on Netflix. I have put options on Microsoft. I have put options on CrowdStrike, and I put options on GEV. I'm pretty confident this market's coming down. Some of those I put on earlier than others. So, I learned a valuable lesson about a confirmation of a breakdown. But it's not about me being right. It's about where we're going. And in my spare time, what God has told me, He said, I want you to help guide here for the wealth transfer. He said, we're coming down. And then we're gonna bottom out somewhere. I don't know where that is. I'm not a prophet, right? God has there are many spiritual gifts. I talked about that this morning in my prayer video, in my Bible reading. But I believe my gift here is to teach. So I'm going to start some teaching videos to help people figure out how to use technical analysis to make better investment decisions, whether if you're a long-term holder or you want to get into trading, right? But also to help guide for the wealth transfer. And I'll leave it there. Now, this is the futures. We just had some weak job data, okay? And this is the same chart, right here, tagged it, boom. But you see a lot more lines here, and these are moving averages. So we're getting a little buy the dip here. But look, we broke the 8, we broke the 20-day moving average, and we broke the 21 EMA. Okay, so where are we going? I think we're coming here. This is the yellow is my 50-day moving average. I can't remember. Yeah, 50-day moving average. So I think we're going to find support right here, the previous all-time high, which I was talking about, right? So interesting. We're probably going to find support right here. If we break this, watch out, okay? And this is what I was saying. The market's about to roll over. The stock market, okay? I mean, that's the only thing that matters is the S&P 500. No matter what narratives they're pumping on YouTube, my technical analysis, I'm a sniper with this stuff. I promise you. Okay? And this is what God has been preparing me the last 3 years in the truck. I got to listen to a lot of financial shows, a lot of top tier economists, money managers, technical analysts, traders, and I really dove in. I have a degree in biochemistry. I was a combat medic. I mean, I did a lot. I think God has been preparing me for this moment. Okay. All right. XLM. I know a lot of people are XLM. Okay. The macro picture on XLM is very bullish. Once we break out of this wedge, I mean, this thing's going to rip. What you do here is you measure from the top of this wedge to the bottom. Okay. That's about a dollar. So add $1 here. I mean, it's going to be a huge move, okay? You're going to go probably up to about $1.50, $2-ish, once this thing really starts moving. And then it'll consolidate, and then we'll move higher. I really think XLM is part of the wealth transfer. But where are we going in the short term? So that's the macro pattern. What's the mid pattern, okay? I'm going to start going through mid macro patterns and then micro patterns. So the mid pattern is we're kind of putting in this little... If you can see this little wedge, right? I don't want that red. I want that tan. Okay. You see this? Okay. So this type of pennant here is actually bullish, right? If it holds. The thing is, we're starting to get below a lot of the moving averages. So if this breaks to the downside, it's going to be actually a failed move because this should break to the upside, so we'll probably get a big sell. But we should catch support, like I've been saying, at 35 cents. You see how the moving averages are kind of getting up there? The 50-day, and then the blue is the 100-day. Where's the 200-day moving average? And the 200-day moving average. We have a lot of support at 30 cents on XLM, okay? So I would highly support, if we break here, 35 cents is going to be a good buy for another bounce, especially. But if the markets just sell, right? The S&P 500 is just selling. The stock market selling. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the crypto. But I think you could probably get away. I hope to God 35 cents is probably going to be a great level. And then the next level after that is down here. This pivot right here into all this support around 32 cents. 32.25 if you wanted to put that in the order book, right? But like I said, we'll adjust fire as we go. Okay? I know I'm going to clear this up so you can see these levels real quick. Okay, 35 and then 32. It's going to be here and here. But this pennant should break out. If this breaks to the upside and it tags here and the stock market is still weak, I will be selling my XLM. Not financial advice, but that's what I'm going to do. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Should have mentioned that in the beginning. But anyway, I'm not a prophet. I'm not nothing. I'm just a guy who loves trading and loves Jesus. Okay? Now, this is XRP. You see the difference? XRP is already broken out of this wedge. It's going to take a lot of energy for XLM to keep going above 60 cents. All right, but look. Unless they start printing money or give stimulus checks, But that's the problem. We haven't had that, right? And so a lot of people are broke right now because of inflation. So that's why we really stalled. But see this trend line? This is what just stopped XLM in the tracks. So even when we bounce up here, right, it's still going to be into resistance so we can finally break and then confirm. Okay? Now where is XRP going and what's going on with the chart? XRP... This is not looking too good. I'll show you what I'm talking about. First of all, look, see all these moving averages? So it really looks like to me we're going to drop to here, to this support line that I've been saying, around $2.60-ish. Okay? And I'll clean it up at the end. You see these. And then even below here, $2.50. But I think $2.60 is probably going to be the level where this thing's going to catch a lot of support and bounce. But like I said, if we really start selling off, it's going to be hard. And let's see how the 260, 259 really corresponds with this 0.618 Fibonacci. That's a lot of support, okay? Well, what's this pattern? Look at that big sell candle. That big sell candle followed by this choppiness is actually putting in a bear flag. Bearish consolidation, meaning it's going to come in. Is XLM bearish consolidation? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, it is. You know, if this breaks, we're going to come in. You might even want to look at down here at 32 cents. But like if you have like $1,000, you want to invest in XLM, I'd do like 300 here, 300 here, and then see if maybe we even get back down to this line at 25 cents. You don't think it could happen, but it can happen, right? And then so yeah, I would buy here, same thing, $1,000. I'd probably do on XRP probably 500 here, and 500 down on this line, about 225 if we get down there, 225, 260 and 225. Okay, now Bitcoin. Another thing that was really telling me that this market was going to correct is look at when we tagged here, and tagged here. Now we formed a trend line, right? Just two lines, two dots is just a straight line. Now we have a trend. Every time we've hit this trend line, we have pulled back hard, right? 85%. We pulled back to here, right, which was 55%. Rallied, but ultimately we went down 76%. So Bitcoin's going to $1 million and all this stuff. I just mean maybe, the banks are going to buy it. You think banks have all the information and data in the world? Do you think they're going to be buying at all-time highs right after the bills are passed? No, they're going to wait for a pullback. Okay, could this go down 50%? Absolutely. I kind of already talked about this level here. Maybe even this trend line, right? And we got this trend line here. I don't know exactly yet where Bitcoin's going to come down. I mean, we have this ultimate trend line down here, which would be a major fall. But we also have this kind of rising trend line here, right? You see that? I'm going to teach you guys how to do trend lines. That's kind of what I was told to do. But in addition, now this pivot, and then for whatever reason, this pivot has been support twice, but it's getting weak. And look at all the moving averages we have broke down beneath, okay? The Bitcoin, I said if this breaks to the wedge, it's going to break big, and it's been breaking down, right? This topping tail was actually suggesting that this was bearish consolidation, not bullish consolidation like you've been hearing. I've been trying to tell you, watch out, it's coming in, okay? I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I know what I'm doing. Now, see this pivot here from 22nd of May, 2025. Now, it corresponds to the 50-day moving average. That's about $112,000, right? That's probably going to be our next support here on Bitcoin. $112,000. Maybe $112,500, but that's the next big support right around here. This pivot top, right? And then Ethereum. I saw so many people. Ethereum's going to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 because these random stocks that have no value started buying it, ripped, popped hundreds of thousands of percent, and then dropped. I mean, it's all facade. Okay. Now, will Ethereum be great in the future? Will all these that I'm talking about be great in the future? Absolutely. Okay. They are going to be the new system. I think after the system collapses through the ashes, crypto's going to rise, right? So I think it's wise. But remember I said this top line. I literally called it. You can watch my videos. I said, okay, I was a little off in the beginning. All right. I thought we were going to have a bigger dip first because I was expecting the stock market to roll over, but it didn't. And before I wasn't on top of making videos. I wasn't paying attention to the news. And a few weeks before I made that, the crypto week started being talked about. But anyway, we were, you could say this is bullish consolidation here, and we broke out. But literally, where did we tag? We tagged this top trend line. Technical analysis to a T. To a T. You tell me technical analysis doesn't work. It's exactly. The charts, each candle represents greed and fear. Okay? And also valuation, right? Market cap. Where market cap is gone. And then you start seeing patterns of greed and fear emerge. And these patterns play out as they should, based upon the greed and fear. That's exactly what you're looking at. And what better way to make a financial decision than looking at past history of something and then seeing where it might go. Okay? Personally, I mean, Ethereum might try to attack this top line again. Look where it's catching support. On the 20-day, Ethereum's actually the most strongest on the charts, right? It's still above its 21 EMA. It bouncing off of its 20-day moving average. But if the stock market comes in, it's going to come in. Where is it going to find major support? At 2,800. Okay? I'm not buying until it gets down to 2,800 here. I'm not going to even touch Bitcoin at 112. I might, depending on this, scenario. But I'm not going to buy XRP till 260 again. Not going to buy XLM to probably even closer to 30 cents, right? 35 if you don't own any, you start getting in. Not financial advice. But, it really depends on what we're doing here. And look at all these moving averages we're below. I think that this is going to fall here. And then we'll probably chop sideways and then come down even more. I said we were going to fill these gaps, right? I've been talking about these gaps. It's easier to see on the SPX. It's not so. I think we're going to come right here, right? We're going to come right here. I think it's 60.25. 60.25 on the SPX. That's where we're going to catch support. We'll catch support here first. But when it breaks, it'll come here. And then if the news is really bad, if we're just not... Okay, we had a 5 move up. Last thing I'm going to talk about. We had a 5 move up, and now we're going to go through a 2-wave corrective phase. So this is Elliott wave. You did a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then we concluded with a 5. A 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we're going to do a 1, 2 down. We're going to do a correction wave. From here, we're going to probably come down. I don't know where we're going to catch support. Maybe we might even come here for support. Probably bounce up, to these pivots here. And then we'll probably come down maybe to this level here. Probably going to look something like that. We'll see. It's time stamped, right? So it'll be very interesting. But with that, thank you for watching. Please like. Please leave a comment. What's your favorite crypto? What's your favorite stock? And I will try to cover those in more detail. I just want to deflect everything to God, okay? I'm not a prophet. I'm nobody. I just was told to come on here, start preaching the Bible, and start teaching about technical analysis in stocks. And in the past 2 weeks, I think I understand why now. Okay? Have a great week. I'm going to go on vacation, but I will do a more in-depth video. I will do a stock market analysis of upcoming earnings next week, and then I'll do a deep dive into crypto. So look forward to those. Please subscribe. Please like. Please leave a comment. I want you to leave a comment. What's your favorite crypto? What's your favorite stock? And I will do a video just for you. God bless.